no political or religious beliefs. The reality is that he was a non-combatant.
It shouldn't have happened.
It shouldn't have happened.
To people who have lived through the Troubles, the trauma suffered by Jerry McConnell after his ordeal will be all too familiar.
It's got the stage that I am out and about, but I'm very wary. I'm very wary of people that don't know.
As a taxi driver, that must be quite difficult.
Terrible. It's terrible because you can't do what you can't really work. At times you try and put on a brave face. You try and be normal. And I want to be normal. I want to have a normal life. I want to be the way it was before the 3rd of August. But it's hard. It's very hard. People don't realise that. You know.
So, who speaks for dissident Republicans? It seems there's a spectrum of dissent. Erigi is a socialist political party based in Dublin, which supports a 32-county socialist republic. It's not linked to any illegal organisation and does not support violence. Republican Network for Unity is a group critical of Sinn Féin's strategy. It also says it does not support violence. The 32-county sovereignty movement is often described as the public face of the real IRA, although they deny this, saying they share only a political analysis with the illegal organisation. Republican Sinn Féin are often described as the political wing of the continuity IRA, but again they insist they're completely separate. The Falls Road, Belfast headquarters of Republican Sinn Féin. They deny they're closely linked to the continuity IRA, but visiting this place, you might think otherwise. They have a gift shop here selling memorabilia that could best be described as special interest.
Continuity IRA stuff here?
Most.
Yeah. People buy this stuff?
Oh yes, tourists, a lot of tourists buy all those things.
Like the rest of the dissident organisations, Republican Sinn Féin tend not to stand for election. Perhaps for good reason. On occasions when they do stand, their vote is minuscule. In the 2007 Assembly election, Republican Sinn Féin got less than half of 1% of the vote. By comparison, Sinn Féin got over 26%.
I feel maybe in the next election, if we went forward, you would see a difference in the count. Now we may not beat the Provos, but we will surely get a bigger vote. And that's the way republicanism always was. Had to struggle and go out and struggle and go out and go out again for voting. And yes, I can say it's doing better the next time round.
You say people are disillusioned, but the facts don't support that. I haven't seen too many people standing up in Republican areas to say they've had enough of the peace process.
They don't go out and do that, they'll do it behind closed doors.
Everywhere we've been in the making of this programme, people have told me that the number of people who actually support violence in terms of Republican politics is tiny, really tiny. What do you say to that?
Well, nobody agrees with violence. We prefer we got a United Ireland in the morning without violence.
So
We would prefer it, but sometimes it's a necessary evil.
Those may be minority opinions, but clearly they're shared by people who are willing to carry out violent attacks. And those numbers appear to be growing. This year alone, 64 people in Northern Ireland have been charged with terrorist-related crimes. That compares to just 17 people last year. It's now thought that north and south of the border, across all of the dissident groups, up to 600 people may be involved. And what's clear is that over the last 2 years, their capacity to kill has been increasing. On the 7th of March last year, 2 soldiers, Patrick Azimkar, aged 21, and Mark Quincy, who was 24, were shot and killed as they took delivery of a pizza outside Mazarine Barracks in Antrim. Patrick Azimkar's parents, Mehmet and Geraldine, live in North London. Their daily ritual is to visit this bench, dedicated to Patrick, in the park where he used to play football. Almost 20 months after his death, Patrick Azimkar's family are still coming to terms with the fact that all they have left of him are memories.
He was always kind of brimming over with energy, and always had been like that from when he was a very small boy. And he was a very kind of physical boy, very sporty, energetic. He was a very, exuberant kind of child.
After leaving school, Patrick wanted to become a carpenter like his father. But apprenticeships were hard to get, so he joined the Royal Engineers, who offered to train him. In 2008, his regiment relocated from England to Mazarine Barracks, just outside Antrim. For the young soldier, it was a kind of homecoming. Patrick Azimkar's name is a marriage of the two cultures that formed him. His father Mehmet is himself from a divided island, Turkish Cyprus. But his mother's family is from Knocklochram in County Derry, just 17 miles from Mazarine.
The peace agreement was when Patrick was 9. And as far as we were concerned here anyway, in England, the peace was holding very well and things were settled. And so I didn't have any worries about him going to Northern Ireland at all.
Patrick Azimkar found he liked life in Northern Ireland. Soldiers had a freedom unknown in the Troubles and were able to leave the base to socialise.
He loved it. He wanted to stay there. He said even after leaving army, he wanted to settle there, he said.
Belfast. You particularly like Belfast?
Belfast.
In late 2008, it was announced that Patrick's regiment would be going to Afghanistan early the following year.
We had very strong kind of faith that he would be fine and that he'd be okay. He would be okay.
But Patrick and Mark met their deaths in a different kind of war. The war dissident Republicans say they are waging against the British state.
If we'd lost Patrick in Afghanistan, of course it's not worse, we'd still lose him and we'd still have the same devastation. It's just so difficult to get your head round. And also, why and how?
What was the
What's
purpose?
the point?
What was the purpose? I mean, what did they gain by destroying our lives and his life and the other boys' life that they should? What? I mean, what actually, I keep asking the same question to myself. What the hell they gain? Did they gain anything?
Good question, and one I decided to put to representatives of dissident Republican organisations. First, the 32 county sovereignty movement, who say they share a political analysis with the real IRA, who claimed the killings.
Well, you know, see, the attacks in Mazarine were, you know, for the families and British soldiers, had to be horrific. It had to be, you know, but the reality is that what you had was armed British soldiers in Ireland who have no right to be here. The fault for the deaths of these young men has to lie fair and square at the hands of those politicians who are sitting very comfortably at home, posting these young men on imperialist missions to Ireland, Afghanistan or Iraq. These British soldiers should not be in Ireland.
And what do Republican Sinn Féin think was gained by the deaths?
Well, it didn't move anything on as such, but it was an answer to the British establishment. You're still here. Your soldiers are still here, occupying our country.
But it didn't achieve anything.
Well, it sent out a message to the British government that those who are opposed to the occupation of this country are still opposed to it.
But that is not the message the Azimkars have heard from the people of Northern Ireland.
We received hundreds, about over 400 cards and more letters from people. The message from the people in Northern Ireland we got from Protestants and Catholics, and the message that we saw over and over and over again was, this is not done in our name.
In some Republican areas across Northern Ireland, it has been a summer of discontent, with serious rioting and public disorder, much of it involving younger people. In Ardoyne, rioting broke out in response to orange marches on the 12th of July. It seemed that not even senior Belfast Republicans like Bobby Storey could calm the situation.